Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, audience from different parts of the country and the world, esteemed speaker and the viewers of this session. Good afternoon from Bangladesh. We are very delighted to make this important session on entrepreneurial mindset with design thinking. Today, powered by Impactors Connect, Female Innovators Hub, and Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Dept International University. I am Bibimbap, the founder and CEO of Female Innovators Hub. Would like to welcome all of you to this important session. Our session is all about design thinking. You know that it's very important to nowadays to have what are the products should be or something like that. We need to design in mind, but sometimes we struggle at this point. So to have these, we have our expert speaker with us today for this session. And we are privileged to have our host, Michael Lee, who is the founder and CEO of CreBiz Factory, with us as the keynote speaker of today's session. Currently, he is the member of B20 Italy 2021 Employment and Education Task Force, B20 South Africa Future Work and Education Task Force, B20 Argentina 2018 SMEs Task Force, B20 Germany 2017 Employment and Education Task Force, B20 China 2016 SME Development Task Force, and B20 Turkey 2015 SME and Entrepreneurship Task Force. He is also the author of Bibimbap Design Thinking. At the heart of the matter is that Bibimbap Design Thinking is the process of the people for the people by the people. He wants to share with us the spirit of Bibimbap, heart, happiness, health, and harmony with you. So, without prolonging my speech, you can understand that we have an expert with us today. So, I would like to welcome Michael Lee to our program. So, I would like to hand over my program to the Michael Lee. So, starting with you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Lee. I'm from South Korea. It is a great pleasure to share my little experience and knowledge about innovation and design thinking and also entrepreneurship. I believe everyone was born to be entrepreneur in the future. So currently some are already entrepreneur, or I want to mention not yet entrepreneur. So let's start the journey about the design thinking today. 2020, we have a huge experience in our life. Some people say that 2020 we saw the BC and AC because of coronavirus. And our life in here is a chaos and then uncertain and unpredictable and changeable, competitive, and unsustainable. That is like a kind of like a characteristic of the corona global pandemic. And here also, the customers are limited. But the want or desire of the customer are quickly and changing because we don't know exactly what they want. We want to say that like unseen needs, unspoken needs, unknown needs. So that's only we know the like iceberg, over the surface. This is like a less than 10%, maximum 15% of the whole iceberg only show up. But we pretend we know exactly the needs of the customers. Yes, it's true. But some people know it, but most of the case, we don't know exactly. Also, 20th century is an economic environment is like a direction of the CEO in the lake. Because CEO said, go left, go right. But 21st century, especially during the pandemic one, we could mention the drafting in the riverside. We don't know what happened next one. So scared. But sometimes we feel dynamic one. It's kind of like adventure. So what is it, the skill of the 21st century skills? what company, what kind
Hello,
of skill
Lee.
they're looking. Yeah,
Lee, can you please present the slide? Present the slide so that it is in full screen mode.
yeah, this is a full screen mode. Yeah. So, okay. Can you see
Uh,
that?
uh, okay, just in the right corner. Okay, yes, press this one.
Yeah. So can you see?
Yes, we can see that.
So it's okay?
Yeah.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. World Economic Forum in 2016, they mentioned 10 skills you need to strive in the Industry 4.0. So typically, right hand side, the conflict problem solving, coordinate with others, management, negotiation, quality control one. This is important. But 2020, last year, they mentioned that critical thinking, creativity get the higher score. And also 2018, where the kind of forum, the research about what is the important skills in the future. So what is a growing skills, what is declining skill? You see, left hand column, many thinking way, creative, critical, complex problem solving, analytical thinking that is so important for the skill. So they mention about the 21st century skills, the competency, they all mention about the critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration we need to teach in the school. In the summary, 21st century, we need thinking, creativity, innovation, problem solving, critical one thinking. So this is all included by what? Design thinking. So design thinking is a key issue in 21st century education and business area. So we need to infuse business with a new form of the thinking, start from the Thomas Edison and also Mark Zuckerberg, who is the next to be successful entrepreneur. So they start from the innovation. Innovation means that's way. I mentioned that making people want to think is a traditional way of thinking. A new one, making things people want. This is a kind of like a shift one. So Stephen Jobs, he mentioned that design is not just looks like or feel like. Design how it works. Also, he's a co-founder of the Ideal company, one of the famous #1 company of the consulting and design thinking. So he said that we need design thinker to solve the current problem. So Tim Brown, he's the CEO of the Ideal. He defined the design thinking in that way. He said that a human-centered approach to innovation. So also integrated with the needs of the people and possibilities of technology, requirement of the for business success. 3 angles of the design thinking: needs of the people, possibility of technology, also business success. Also, Stanford University is famous for the design thinking. They developed the design thinking. They mentioned that a methodology for innovation that combines creative and analytical approaches to and they require collaboration across the disciplines. So this is a simple definition of design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered, innovative approach to problem solving. This is a basic fundamental definition of the design thinking. The design thinking is a combined or infusion of the analytical thinking and the intuitive thinking. It's a mix it. Actually, design thinking is less about the thinking. It's more about the doing, action oriented. Later, I can explain why design thinking is more about the doing and action. Nowadays, so many people talking about design thinking. Why? Why they are talking about design thinking? Albert Einstein, he mentioned that so many people do same things over and over, but they expect a different result. But they never change it, but they want to see different result. And another one, the relationship with the customers, it keeps changing continually, changing and changing. And then also people adopt a new technology, discover a new solution, and develop different expectations. So as a business leader, we need to see, also we need to design our business, we need to design our future that work differently. Sometimes we have the tunnel vision. Okay, the darkness finish will soon. The same things all the government say that when you get the vaccine, corona will be finished. But our country, we got the more than 30% population get the vaccines. But now the huge increase of the infected in every day because of the new different kinds of the corona one is coming soon and come out it. So we don't know when is the overcome of the corona pandemic. So we need to overcome the tunnel vision of the business world. So we need to give up. Everything is finished soon. So what can I do? So there has a 4 basic element of the design thinking. First one, design thinking is a human center. So human center, it means we're always thinking about people's needs and the problems. So empathy is a key issue. So we need to develop the ability to understand, to share the feeling of the others. Without the feelings, without empathy, empathize with others, so difficult to develop the design thinking because human center is a basic foundation of the design thinking. Second one, design thinking is very highly creative because so many different people come together and they look at the situation differently and they come out and then different solutions. So, and then we're trying to find best solution to solve the problem. So we come together, integrative thinking is a key. So we have to respect different ideas come out. So third one is hands-on. I mentioned that design thinking is not anymore about the thinking, is about doing one. So stop the discussion. Don't talking anymore and then start working, making your idea like a tangible. So in here is that prototyping is very important. Also, visualization is so important for design thinking. So we have the like a kind of culture of the fear of the failure, but we need to overcome it. So we need to create a very positive environment to overcome the fear of the failure. And then also last one, iterative. It means when you develop somehow a prototype and talk to the customer, they give them the feedback, is not match it, and then we have to back to the basic and then continually talking and then develop until satisfy the customers. So when design thinking is very useful, so we get a problem. I will mention that there are so many unknown, unspoken the problems and needs of our customers. So it's so difficult to define the problems. So at that time, design thinking is very useful. But it's not every problem. Design thinking is not answer to every single problem. Some people, they got misunderstanding is that design thinking is the master key to solve all different kinds of the business problem, other things. No, it's not master key at all. But this is a very important key to solve so many difficult problems. This is a very important one. I mentioned that what is people's needs, and then business one, and then technology. So I love to explain different kinds of the process of the design thinking. IDEO and then Acumen, they developed the human-centered design thinking process, the 3-step: inspiration, ideation, implementation. In inspiration stage, they go to meet the customer and the user and they conduct interview and hear what kind of problem they have it. And then later, based on the hearing and the research interviewing, they develop the idea. And the last one, they make the solution. And then also another one, Stanford this school developed the 5-step of the design thinking process. This is one of famous, outstanding role model. The first one, empathize, and then define, ideate, prototype, and then test. So empathize is the learning about the user for whom you are designing by observation and interview. Who is your user? What kind of problem they have? Based on empathize, and then after that, you need to define the problem of your user. We call the creative point of view is about the based on the user needs and insight. And after that, we develop the idea. We using the brainstorming and create a lot of the creative solution as possible. And after the based on your idea and then develop the prototype, and after that, and you can just share your prototype, your solution with the customers and user to get the feedback. This is a very basic process. So many the companies and also idea camp, other area using this 5-step to solve the problems to develop the idea. And also the idea or the develop the design thinking process for the educator. They using the 5 different steps, different terminology: discover, interpretation, ideation, experimentation, and then evolution. So in the stage of the discovery means I have a challenge, meet the user, and then with interviewing, observation, and then got some insight from them. After that, what is their problem? I learned something when I meet the user and the customer. And after the based on discovery, interpretation, and then develop the idea. And after that, experimentation means they develop the prototype. And after evaluation, you can test one, continue to meet the customer, get the feedback to upgrade. Here's a 5-1. So this is like a summary of the design thinking process. The human-centered design one, and then also 3D one, 4D, and then ideal one, discal one. Now basically there's 3 stages and then expand 5, 6, and 7 steps. So 3 basic one, meet your user or customer to get the information, to understand what is the real needs of the user. The based on that, and then develop the idea, and then to share the idea. Traditionally, the company, they make a product, and they sell it. This is a typical way. At the time, also they research it. They met the customers, the mass productions process. But nowadays, developed all the internet, SNS, they try to meet the more customer detailed needs. So there has some basic success case in here. I want to share it. One of the best example of the one is Bank of America, keep the change. What is the problem? How can we educate our customer to save the money? So when I go to the shopping mall and I got to pay the cash and I get all the different coins come out. So how can I using that? So this is a sample. When I buy the coffee to the 35 cents, and I pay the $3, I have to get the 0.44 cent for the change. Automatically, they go to my saving account. Through that kinds of the solution, Bank of America, they got the $30.1 billion for 1 year. They got a huge success. The second one is the healthcare adventure series one. When the kids, the parents brought them to the hospital to check that their kids are using MRI or CT machine. They feel the children, when I see that, when they're going through that, they're very scared and crying and crying and crying. So one of the people in the health, GE hospital one day said, how can we help our children frightening the MRI CT machine, increase their comfort? How can I make them comfortable to take the MRI or CT machine? So they using adventure concept. So design whole room. So they say, no, let's go to the adventure. It's not only examine, get to the sea and the sky, the different kinds of adventure series one, make it for 5 different adventure series. So all the kids love it. So more than 90% of the patients, the more increase, they're satisfied. And the more than like a 70% kids, they don't need the sedation to make them calm down. So it means they can get the more patient. In here is more than like a success stories. I would love to share it. So there's all the design thinking for the consumer packaging goods, education, finance service, healthcare, journalism, even though also developed NGO one, retail store, tech company, and transportation NGOs too. So that has further information here. We go to this is the designthinking.net. They got the success stories. Also, you go to the ideal in that area, you can see that. Then later, you can ask the host to the university to get my presentation one, and then also my book of the design thinking workbook. I love to share. You can ask them, you can get it. So now, I basically explain about what is it design thinking. So now I'm going to the Bibimbap design thinking. Why? I mentioned that no one size fit at all. So we need to develop the different kinds of the process that is people customize, solve their needs, because we are different. So Bibimbap design thinking start with not the client, the user, customer, stakeholder, someone. We go to the human being, and the bottom one I mentioned, the heart, the love. Love is foundation of the design Bibimbap design thinking. Bibimbap design thinking is not about the technology or business, but it's about the human beings and love. I don't know. I'm not sure whether you know the Korean typical dish is a bibimbap. So bibimbap is a healthy cuisine and created by the nature and the human beings. We call this is a test of the harmony, perfect the balance, because you bring all the different kinds of the vegetables come together with the rice and the sauce when you mix it. So this is a typical characteristic of the design thinking, our bibimbap one. So I wrote the 2 books. One is the English version in 2020 is about the workbook and summarize the 5 steps. And then later, the last year, I wrote about the Bibimbap design thinking Korean version, like a little bit upgraded one. So I love to share English book first with you guys. So this is my personal definition of the Bibimbap design thinking: a human-centered, global and local innovative approach to problem solving with a combined analytical and creative thinking and requiring collaboration, experiment, and harmony. So Bibimbap design thinking is using the cooking process to explain the design thinking process. So first time, when you think what you want to cook, so when you design the menu, and then at the time you collect the vegetables. So it means collect the vegetable means collect the team members. In normal design thinking does not mention about team building and presentation. Just only the sharing one. So very important of the team building. So then after when I get the vegetable, when I have to clean one, so it means that during the clean section, empathize the user and define the problem, and then chopping one, ideation. And after cooking one, prototype, delivery, convey. It means you can share your idea with the customers. This is the 5 step: collect, clean, chopping, cooking, convey. So there has a different contents in behind the one. But this is a process one. I mentioned that. So later when you see and easy to understand. So there has a 9 key element of the Bibimbap design thinking. First one, focusing on people. It's the same as a design thinking. Second one, responding in love. Because I mentioned the importance of the teamwork. So we need to express your love, your care to your team members. Affirm, affirm, affirm. I don't know about the Bangladesh. In Korean culture, there's a lot of the negative feedback when I grew up. So difficult raising my hands to ask questions. But so difficult to express my love, my care to other people. But this is a very important, responding love. And the third one, radical collaboration. I mentioned that different background, different view come together to solve the same problem together. And the fourth one, bias toward action oriented. Don't talk anymore, okay? Go further. So doing. And then also last, fourth one, be visual. Visualization is so important. One picture is more important than 10,000 words. And then defer judgment. Don't criticize other people's opinion. Don't evaluate other people's idea. You can do it later. Please create a very positive, dynamic, and environment with your team members to get the more feedback. So we need to build our own ideas on other people's idea. So 7.1 is get experiment. Continually, we have to experiment to learn it. And then also iterative. The last one is a Bibimbap design thinking is about holistic approach. It's a combine analytical thinking and a creative thinking and then diverse and then converse thinking. Also combine Asian thinking and Western thinking together. It's like a chi. It's energy of the universe. There's some secret recipes about the Bibimbap design thing. What is it? Why is it important? I mentioned that love is a firm foundation to build Bibimbap design thinking. Why? When you fall in love, we are so curious about them, sensitive. When you love, you can easy to know it. What is the difference from your partners? And also, when I'm using the cooking process to explain Bibimbap design thinking, when I saw my mom to cook for us. In the hot summer day, my mom sweat. And then I asked, Mom, what are you doing now? I'm cooking for you. Because she put her love and care to cooking. So I believe cooking heart is same as a Bibimbap design thinking process. Second one is the contextualization. I mentioned that whole Bibimbap design thinking concept from Asia. I believe it, but ironically, Western people developed the idea. So this is like a combination. So I mentioned that cooking is heart, health, and happiness. So this is a very easy to understand because of process one. What do you want to cook? Collect the vegetables, cleaning, and then chopping, and then cooking and conveying. Using the cooking process to explain the design thinking. And also I emphasize on the building team. Why is this important? Already many people know it, the importance of teamwork, how to build it. So diversity is very, very important. And here, make a decision. 87% of the time is much better to get them make better decision. And here, it's quite funny. Cat and dogs, they're enemy usually with things, but they have, even though they're enemy, but when I got the same goal, they work together. So we are not a team because we are work together. We are the team because we respect, trust, and care for each other, even though we have a different opinion. Even though we have a different opinion, but we can be best team. Look at all the hero movies. Avengers, like a, what is it? Like a team. They're from the DC one. That has a very strong character count. There's a lots of conflict problems in there, but when they face huge problem, they come together, and then they try to best to solve together as a team. So this one I emphasize on yin yang. It's like a chi one. It's also later, if I have time, I want to love to share about the importance of the cultural intelligence. What is important in 21st century? So I also mentioned about effective presentation. Western and Eastern has a different education system, different way of the communication. So when you present your idea with the Western people, sometimes they're difficult to understand fully because different way of thinking, different way of communication. I mentioned that effective presentation is so important because the last stage of the design thinking is communicate with the customers, communicate with the stakeholders. Also, I have like a 21 different kinds of toolkit to explain Bibimbap design thinking. Also, this is using all different kinds of the business sectors. So there's a full benefit of the organization people when you're using the Bibimbap design thinking. First one, to help your company become comfortable with the unseen. Everyone in fear, afraid to solve the problem with unseen things. But when you get the design thinking, get the more comfortable, more confidence. And then also Bibimbap design thinking help your company foster creativity, innovation culture. And then also help your companies, your organization differentiate from competitors. Because we are different, okay? You can become outstanding among your competitors. How? Because it involves way of thinking, increase of the collaboration and participation to make it run fast and more efficient. There's a lot of time to launch one product, new product. But using the design thinking, we can save the time a lot, save all the resources to launch to the market. So I mentioned this time and the market one. And increase the user satisfaction. And then cost saving, great ROI, this good one. Also, Bibimbap design help your organization become learning organization. Nowadays, the learning organization is very important. So we have to learn continually. So when you stop, the learning means we'll die. We don't know what happened in the future. It means we have to learn it continually. Also, I have my Bibimbap design thinking school using all the different kinds of learning methodology. In here, I teach the attitude and skill and knowledge. And here's a program on I have like a 1-day program using the SMEs and the chef one 3 days, 5 days sous chef program. When you become the master chef, you can teach and train so many people. So using the concept one. So this is like a batch of the Bibimbap design thinking process. When you finish the program, you get the batch. So currently, I'd love to finish my explanation of the Bibimbap design thinking here now. So I want you to remember a few things. First one, Bibimbap design thinking is a human-centered, global, innovative approach to problem solving. It starts from the love, start from the human being. Second one, I mentioned that love is a foundation of the Bibimbap design thinking. Third one, this is very useful for wicked problems, undefined problems. When you find it, using the design thinking, very useful. Design thinking is a step-by-step process, not single event to solve all the problems. It's not genie. It's not master key. Open all the doors. The step-by-step one. So the multiple iterations to get the final best solution come out. The fifth one, Bibimbap design thinking is applied to the virtually any teams, any industry. So it's about the doing. Even though we're using the concept of thinking, but most of the time, the doing is action oriented. I challenge you to develop your own design thinking process for your customers, for your company, for your user. I'm using the Korean dish is a bibimbap to explain design thinking. In Bangladesh, I don't know about your country very well, but I'm sure you have the DNA to be creative, to be innovative. So using your culture, dish, any kinds of image to easy to people understand the design thinking. You can do it right now. So later we have the Q&A time. So you have the questions, so let me know. I will do my best to explain it. So this about me. So this is my whole personal contact information. So later, do you need any further question to help? Just let me know it. I will do my best to talk to you. So done my time. So it's time to have the Q&A. So do you have any question?
Thank you so much, Lee, for your wonderful presentation. That was really informative and valuable for our audience. And I really like the most that you have talked about the team, you have talked about the visualization, you have talked about that design thinking is important for our to come out from our comfort zone. So that's the thing we actually need to know, why it is important for our organizations. So thank you so much. Now we have few questions from our audience, is that they actually wanted to know that at what stage they can actually think of design thinking for in their business or enterprises.
Can you repeat again, please?
Okay, so the question was that at which stage, whether it is early stage or the growth stage, in which stage they actually should focus more on design thinking so that they can go further.
Okay, there has design thinking using any different kinds of stage of the companies. So nowadays, two way. So when you develop the new product, or even though you have the current product you want to upgrade, or you want to launch the new product, also you want to start your own business. So any area you can using the design thinking process. So that we call this is very useful. Design thinking start from the same as like a human history. So maybe if next time I can explain why it start from the human history. So they all the different kinds of the area. So many people using that one. But nowadays, also all the university to teach design thinking for the student because they encourage the student to start a business. Now another one big company to using design thinking. to launch a new product, upgrade the current their product one. Third one, government. They're using the design thinking to provide like a social. So they have a lot of community problems. So current the typical consulting process does not fit at all. So they use the design thinking. Korean government, they develop using the design thinking to train the government official to develop the new service. So maybe I don't know about your country, how many area they can use it. So sooner or later, education area, consulting area, business area, even the government area, they can use the design thinking process.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So we have another question.
Yep.
So using that design thinking process, so how can we create effective entrepreneurial learning environments? Because in our organization we need to have that entrepreneurial culture within the organizations. So how can we actually design that process so that we can create an effective culture?
You mentioned the culture one very important. I don't know about exactly about your culture of the learning culture one. So my grow up in Korean culture, I mentioned that when I like a 20, 30 years ago, there has a very negative education system. Just only student that listen to the teaching of the teachers. So difficult raise a hand to ask education. No time to discussion time. But now many things is changing. So this is very useful, methodology to increase all the student people to get more participate. So all the problem we cannot solve the problem by ourselves. We need the team members. We need different people's angles to combine together to choose best solution. There is no right solution at all. But in the school, we teach you have to choose right answer to get a good score. In the business area, there is no right answer at all. So we miss in the business area, in the society, we try to choose best answer in our situation. There's so many different best answer because of the different situation. So this is very useful toolkit to develop such a has angle, an idea to choose best the solution in our limited resources. So there has a one question about how to choose my teammate. What quality to have it? So later, you can get my ebook, Bibimbap Design to Workbook. They had a section about the team, how to build a team one, base one, two-step. You have to know yourself. What your strength, what your weakness. And then later, base one, knowing yourself, and then find someone to need your weak point. Some people come together with the same strength, easy to fight. Because later we just evaluate and compete. My idea is much better, but it has a different people come together, compensate my weakness. We can upgrade it like kind of like a synergy. So using the like a disc, so many toolkit they have it. So later you can choose someone whom you have a different background. So like choose someone totally different. So you get so many things. Even the first day is so difficult to adjust. It's like a team building section, like a left-thing one. My idea is much better, you are much better, but important things make a creative, very positive energy environment.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, we need to have a diversified people in our organization. Yes, team is very necessary. Even we understand from the entrepreneurial culture is that most of our startups actually really shut down their business because of there is no bonding between the teammates. So it's very important. Very good question.
And another
One
one
last
from my
question
side,
is
just okay, one more explanation. My weak point, if someone pushing me to do something quickly, I got the stress.
Yeah.
So I can share it. Okay,
Ah,
give me a time. Give me a time to think. I want to see the whole the process. I didn't. If I do not get some picture of the whole the process, I stay back. I'm afraid. I cannot do anything. So they push me, Michael, do it immediately. No. So if we share your weak point with other people, they will accept you as who you are. This is a very important to reduce the conflict. So my strength, I love to see the big picture. I push the people. I, persuade them to do it. That is my strength. So different kinds of the people come together. I mentioned Avengers. This is one a good example how to build a team. The pains, they make you stronger, according to the Black Widow. I watched the movie. They mentioned that pains, conflict, make you stronger, make your team strong and stronger.
ah, that's true. That's very true. So one last question from the audience is that can you please tell us about a little bit of design thinking for the social entrepreneurs?
Yep. Okay. Design thinking not only for the normal business. So this is a very like kind of like a little bit magic. I don't want to mention the magic one. Anyway, the design thinking very useful for the social one. Also, they have like a social design thinking process. Social, the social business is a little bit different from normal one, so they slightly change the process of the design thinking for the social business one. So basic foundation is that empathy. So basic one. So you go to the field. Don't stay in the office using the internet. You assume that I know my customer because customer same as mine. So I know them. Yes, sure, you know. But I mentioned that go to the under the surface, unseen, unknown, unspoken need. So that go to the field. Don't afraid of the meeting your user and the customer. You are afraid it, definitely you fail it. I guarantee 100%. If you go to the field, out of the office, go meet the customer and have an experience and follow them, interview them. At that time, you get a very deep insight of your customer, and then you can provide a very good one. So design thinking, first step, empathy. Means meet your user, observe, interviewing, and experience. Don't assume I know them. Yeah. So if you doing that way, you can find a very good solution for your customers, for your society one. So nowadays, I mentioned that many our governments are they're using the design thinking to solve the local community problems. That is like a social business. Also encourage young people to provide, like present their social idea to solve the local problem. They can give a little bit grant, and they're also mentoring one. So they solve their own problems. That is very useful toolkit.
Thank you so much, Lee. It was a quite interesting thing. I just got to know about the little bit of culture and so on from your speech. So we are about to end our session. Any last few words from you regarding this design thinking? Would you like to share with the audience?
I wanted to share just only two keywords. Love the people. I mentioned that design thinking is a human center, but in Asian culture, it goes down. Respect, with like a family oriented. We had to grow up. We know how to respect seniors, how to respect our community. So I mentioned that you was born to be expert of the design thinking, but you have to wake up your giant inside. You say that I got the talent, I got the DNA. So this is very important. Second one, first one, the love. Second one, just do it. Just to do it like a Nike. Don't afraid of the failing and the failing and failing. Don't care about other people's opinions. Don't other people looking around you. They keep watching you whether you are successful or fail. They will gossip you. Ignore them. They do not take care of your business, your future at all. Only you take care about your future. So trust yourself. If you do not trust yourself, who gonna trust you? I say that believe yourself, ignore the other people's opinion, just do it right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The important things we have learned from your session is the confidence we need to build in ourselves. That's the very important thing. As really, really, really thankful to you for your session. It was really worthy session to spend. I hope our audience liked it much, and hopefully we'll get more and more session from you, because there are some audience those who want to more and more session from you. Hopefully we'll get you in other sections. But
Yep.
at the end of the session, thank you so much, Lee, and thank you so much the audience for joining our session. And yes, that brings the conclusion of our session. Hope to see you in the futures. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.